Hugger style. A love born in simplicity. Chapter 1. The dreamer of Istanbul. Istanbul never slept, and neither did he. From the window of his small rented apartment near Taksim Square, he watched the city lights flicker across the Bosphorus, as ferries moved like slow fireflies on the water. That his heart wasn't at peace. His name was Amir, and he had one obsession: success. He wanted to be someone remembered. Someone who built an empire. Fame, wealth, power, these were not just dreams, they were his oxygen. At 28, Amir had already tried everything. He had launched 2 startups in digital marketing, borrowed money from banks, and even risked investments in small fashion boutiques. One after another, they fell apart. The latest failure, a fashion line he tried to sell online, ended in bankruptcy. He owed money, his credit was ruined, and his so-called friends began avoiding his calls. One night, his best friend Kerem came over with takeaway tea and simit bread. "Brother," Kerem sighed, sitting on the couch, "you have to stop torturing yourself. You tried, it didn't work. Maybe you should find a normal job." Amir laughed bitterly, pushing the tea away. "Normal job? Do you see me in a bank, Kerem? Sitting in an office from 9 to 5, stamping papers? No, I was not made for that. I'll be someone big, mark my words." Kerem shook his head. "You've already lost everything once. How many more times will you burn yourself before you realize the fire doesn't love you?" Amir's voice trembled. Better to burn chasing greatness than freeze in mediocrity. Kerem grew quiet. He knew his friend's stubborn heart. Later that night, alone again, Amir sat by the window. The lights of the Galata Tower shone in the distance, but inside, his soul was dim. He whispered to himself, "I wanted the world, but now the world is crushing me." He had thought about death more than once. Standing on the Bosphorus bridge, he had stared at the water below, wondering if it would be easier to let go. But something unseen always pulled him back. Perhaps Allah hadn't finished writing his story yet. With his head in his hands, Amir muttered, "Why am I alive, if not to win?" His chest ached with emptiness. He thought success would fill it, but every failure only widened the hole. What he didn't know was that his answer was walking somewhere. In the city that very night, modestly dressed, unaware of the role she was about to play in his destiny. Chapter 2. A glimpse on Istiklal Street. It was a crisp autumn evening in Istanbul, the kind of evening when the city smelled of roasted chestnuts and fresh simit bread. Crowds moved endlessly along Istiklal Street, the heart of the city's soul. Musicians played soft tunes on their guitars, and shop lights glowed warmly against the fading sky. Amir walked among them, but unlike the others, he wasn't shopping or laughing. His eyes carried shadows. After another failed meeting with investors, his pockets were nearly empty, and so was his spirit. He was about to turn toward the side street leading to his apartment when it happened. He saw her. She wasn't like the other women he was used to noticing. She wasn't dressed in glamorous clothes, nor was she wearing loud colors. She wore a simple cotton abaya in pale beige, her hijab neatly wrapped in harmony with her outfit. The simplicity of her style wasn't plain, it was elegant in its purest form. For a moment, the noise of Istiklal disappeared. All Amir could hear was the rush of his own heartbeat. Who is she? She walked with grace, carrying a small bag of books. Her eyes, calm and focused, seemed untouched by the chaos of the world. Amir found himself staring, completely frozen, as if the universe had slowed down only for him. Amir, whispering to himself, "She's different, not like anyone I've ever seen." He wanted to follow, to say something, anything, but fear gripped him. What if she's married? What if her family is close by? What if she thinks I'm just another street man harassing her? He stood still, his fists tightening at his sides, torn between courage and fear. By the time he gathered his breath, she had disappeared into the crowd. His heart dropped. That night, back in his apartment, he couldn't sleep. He replayed her image again and again in his mind. The softness of her walk, the modesty of her dress, the quiet dignity that radiated from her. Kerem called him on the phone, as he often did late at night. Kerem. Bro, you sound strange. What happened? Did another investor reject you? Emir, absently. No. I saw someone today. Kerem, laughing. What? A rich businessman who will save you? Emir, quietly. No, a woman. Covered, modest. But she was. I don't know how to explain it. Like Allah placed light inside her. Kerem. And did you talk to her? Emir. No. Kerem, sighing. Then you'll probably never see her again. Istanbul is too big, my friend. But Emir didn't believe that. Something deep in his heart refused to let go. The next day, he returned to Istiklal Street. He stood in the same spot, watching the crowd. He came again the next day. And the next. For weeks, he walked that street with one silent prayer. Emir, to himself. Ya Allah, if she's meant for me, bring her back. Days turned into weeks and still no sign of her. People laughed at him, Kerem especially. Kerem, mocking. You look like a lost poet waiting for a ghost. Do you even know her name? Emir, firmly. I don't need her name. I know her soul. Kerem shook his head, but Emir's heart knew what it wanted. He had chased money, fame, success only to fall into despair. But for the first time in years, he felt alive again. And it wasn't because of a business idea. It was because of a woman he barely knew, yet couldn't forget. What Emir didn't realize was that these weeks of waiting would plant a new idea in his mind. An idea that would change not only his future, but also the modest fashion world. Chapter 3. 2 months of waiting, one spark of an idea. 2 months. That's how long Emir returned to Istiklal Street every evening, blending with tourists and students, always scanning the crowd, always hoping to catch a glimpse of her. But she never came. Yet something strange began to happen to him in those weeks. Instead of falling deeper into despair, he felt awakened. Her image modest, dignified, beautiful without extravagance kept replaying in his mind. One cold morning he sat at a cafe near Galata Tower, sketchbook open before him. His hands moved almost without his control, drawing lines and shapes. When he stopped, he stared at the paper in surprise. It was her at least, the memory of her, the flow of her abaya, the softness of her cotton hijab, the understated elegance of her presence. For the first time, he asked himself, why should beauty mean excess? Why can't fashion mean dignity? That single thought struck him like lightning. He began to sketch more abaya cuts, loose dresses, breathable fabrics that could feel both stylish and comfortable. He visited the Grand Bazaar, touching rolls of Turkish cotton, silks and linens. The sellers looked at him curiously, as he asked endless questions about fabric textures and dyes. One elderly fabric seller, Mustafa, raised his eyebrows when Emir described his vision. Mustafa, so you want fashion for modest women? Not like the flashy European designs? Emir, smiling faintly. No, something simple. Something pure. Modesty with elegance. Mustafa, stroking his beard. That might work. The Gulf Arabs, the Emiratis, they love quality cotton. If you do it right, you may find fortune. Emir. It's not just about fortune this time, Mustafa. It's about her. Mustafa chuckled, not fully understanding. But Emir's eyes carried a fire he hadn't seen in years. For weeks, Emir worked day and night, stitching samples with small tailors, experimenting with cuts and shades. He wanted women to feel comfortable yet dignified, stylish without betraying their modesty. When Kerem visited his apartment and found fabrics everywhere, he laughed out loud. Kerem, ya Allah Emir, are you opening a fabric shop now? What happened to being a tech mogul or a marketing genius? Emir, holding up a sketch proudly. Forget tech, forget marketing. This is it. This is what I was born to create. Kerem, rolling his eyes. Another crazy idea. Emir. No. This time it's different. This is not just business. This is love. Kerem froze, staring at him. Kerem, you mean that girl? You're designing all this because of her? Emir, softly with conviction. Yes, she was my sign. Allah sent her to open my eyes. And when I see her again, I'll show her these designs. He placed his hand on the sketchbook as if swearing an oath. That night, he thought long about what to call his new line. He wanted something simple yet international. He remembered the word hygge from Scandinavian culture, meaning comfort and coziness. Blending it with style, he whispered into the night. Huggestyle. The name felt right, like destiny. Over the next weeks, he printed the first tags with the Huggestyle logo, sewed the first prototypes, and dreamed of one day showcasing them in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. But his heart was still tied to Istanbul's streets, still waiting for the moment when Allah would bring her back. And then, exactly 2 months later, destiny answered. Chapter 4. The Fateful Reunion. It was late afternoon in Istanbul, the sky painted in soft orange as the sun leaned over the Bosphorus. Emir was walking along Istiklal Street, sketches tucked carefully into a leather folder. By now it had become habit, his daily pilgrimage. 2 months of waiting, 2 months of hope balanced on the edge of despair. And then, as if the heavens opened, he saw her. She was walking out of a small bookstore, carrying the same kind of cotton bag he remembered from that first encounter. Her abaya was light grey this time, her hijab a muted cream. Modest, simple, yet radiant. His heart slammed against his chest. For a moment his legs felt heavy as stone. Emir, whispering to himself, You Allah. It's her. After all this time. This time he didn't let fear paralyze him. Gathering every ounce of courage, he stepped forward. Excuse me, his voice cracked slightly. She turned, her gaze calm but cautious. Her eyes so full of dignity met his. Yes, she replied softly. Emir fumbled with his folder, his hands trembling. He pulled out a sketch, the one he had drawn of her after that first day. Her modest cotton style reimagined as fashion. He swallowed hard. I don't want to disturb you, but 2 months ago, I saw you here. And since that day, you inspired me. He held out the sketch. She blinked, clearly surprised. Inspired you? Yes, Emir said earnestly. I was lost before, failing at everything. But then I saw you. Your simplicity, your beauty and modesty gave me an idea. I started designing modest clothing. A brand. I called it Huggestyle. And this sketch, it's of you that first day. Silence lingered between them, filled only by the noise of street vendors and footsteps of passing crowds. She looked at the paper, then at him. Her lips curved slightly, the faintest of smiles. You kept this? For 2 months? Emir, nodding. Every day I came back here, hoping Allah would let me see you again. And now you're here. She studied him carefully, her modesty making her words measured. You don't even know my name. Emir, quietly. No, but I know what my heart felt when I saw you. And I believe Allah doesn't let such feelings enter without reason. Her expression softened. She glanced at the sketch again. My name is Amina. Emir felt the name settle into his heart like a prayer answered. Amina. Amina. Beautiful. It suits you. For a moment, both stood in silence, the weight of the moment sinking in. Then she said gently, I should go. My family is waiting. Fear shot through Emir. He didn't want this moment to vanish again. Emir, hurriedly. Please, may I meet you again? With your family, if you wish. I want to do this the right way. I don't want to disrespect you. Her eyes lingered on him, testing his sincerity. Finally, she gave a small nod. Amina, come tomorrow after Asr prayer. I'll be here with my brother. Relief washed over him like rain after drought. He almost laughed from joy. Emir. Thank you. Thank you, Amina. You've already given me more than you know. She smiled shy, but enough to etch itself into his soul. Then she walked away, disappearing into the crowd once more. But this time, Emir didn't feel despair. He felt hope. He clutched the sketch to his chest and whispered, Emir, Ya Allah, you've answered me. Let me be worthy of her. That night, sleep finally came to him, sweet, deep, filled with dreams not of money or fame, but of a woman named Amina. Chapter 5. Love Blossoms. The next day, after Asr prayer, Emir returned to Istiklal Street, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. He had dressed carefully, nothing extravagant, just a clean white shirt, dark blazer and polished shoes. His leather folder with sketches remained by his side, as if it were part of him now. And then he saw her. Amina stood near the bookstore, but this time she wasn't alone. Beside her was a tall young man with a trimmed beard, dressed in casual jeans and a jacket. His posture was protective, his gaze alert. Emir swallowed hard, but forced himself to step forward. Amina, softly, to her brother. That's him. The brother crossed his arms, watching Emir closely. Brother. So, you're the man who kept following my sister? Emir raised his hand slightly, defensive but calm. Emir. Not following, hoping. I saw her once 2 months ago. She inspired me. I came back here every day, praying to meet her again. Alhamdulillah, Allah allowed it. The brother studied him for a long moment, then glanced at Amina. Her calm expression seemed to reassure him. Brother, my name is Yusuf. If your intentions are honest, you should speak clearly. Emir, nodding. They are honest. I want to get to know Amina with respect, and if Allah wills, to ask for her hand in marriage. Yusuf's eyes widened slightly at the directness. Amina lowered her gaze, cheeks tinged with a blush. Yusuf, after a pause. Come meet our family. Then we'll see if your words hold weight. At Amina's home. That evening, Emir found himself seated in a modest apartment in Fatih, a district known for its religious atmosphere. The smell of Turkish tea and homemade brek filled the air. Amina's father, an older man with kind but cautious eyes, sat across from him. Amina's mother poured tea, while Amina herself stayed mostly quiet, seated beside her mother with lowered gaze. Emir spoke with humility. Emir, uncle, auntie, I will be direct. My name is Emir. I am 28. My past is full of failures. I will not hide it. I lost businesses, even fell into depression. But Allah gave me another chance. The day I saw your daughter, something changed in me. She inspired me to build something new, modest fashion. I've started a brand called Hugger Style, and I want to build my future with her by my side. Silence followed. The father sipped his tea, thinking deeply. Finally, he asked, Father, what do you seek in marriage, Emir? Emir, without hesitation. Peace, Baraka, a partner who reminds me of Allah when I forget, and someone to love sincerely with respect. The father's gaze softened. He turned to his daughter. Father, Amina, what do you say? For the first time, she raised her eyes toward Amir, her voice quiet but steady. Amina, I believe Allah brings people together for a reason. And I believe he is sincere. Her words struck Emir's heart like light entering a dark room. The courtship. In the weeks that followed, Emir visited often. Their conversations grew always respectful, never crossing boundaries. They walked sometimes with Yusuf or Amina's cousins nearby, speaking about dreams and faith. One afternoon, as they walked along the Bosphorus shoreline, Amina asked softly, Amina, why did you not speak to me that first day? You only watched. Emir, smiling shyly. Because I was afraid. Not of you, but of myself. I feared you might belong to someone else, and my heart would break. But Allah gave me another chance. She lowered her gaze, a small smile tugging her lips. Amina, and now you are not afraid. Emir, gently. Not when it comes to you. The nikah. Within months, families met, discussions were had, and prayers were made. One evening, under the soft glow of lanterns in a mosque courtyard in Fatih, Emir and Amina signed their nikah papers. Emir felt tears sting his eyes as he whispered the shahada silently to himself. The man who once chased only money now stood beside the woman who had become his compass. As they walked out together as husband and wife, Emir leaned closer, whispering, Amina, you saved me. You don't even know how close I was to losing myself before you came. Amina, smiling softly, I didn't save you. Allah did. He just chose me as a reason. And with that, Emir knew his life had truly begun. Chapter 6. Dubai, the land of opportunities. Marriage brought Emir something he had never known before: peace. The storms inside him had quieted. He no longer woke up haunted by failure, nor did he fall asleep counting debts. Instead, he woke to the sound of Amina's soft recitation of Quran in the morning, and slept knowing someone prayed for him every night. But the dream inside him did not die. If anything, it grew stronger. Hugger style had begun as sketches in Istanbul, stitched by local tailors. But Emir saw beyond Turkey. He had read about the booming, modest fashion market in the Gulf, especially in the UAE. Dubai was becoming a global capital of fashion, a place where East met West, where luxury met modesty. One evening, as they sat on the balcony of their small Istanbul apartment, overlooking the minarets of Sultanahmet, Emir spoke with conviction. Amina, I believe Hugger style is meant for more. Istanbul was the beginning, but Dubai is the future. Amina, curious, why Dubai? Emir, because the women there value modesty, but they also love elegance. They seek brands that speak both faith and fashion. If Hugger style succeeds there, it can succeed anywhere. Amina studied him for a long moment, then smiled. Amina, if that's where Allah guides us, I will follow you. Arrival in Dubai. A month later, they landed at Dubai International Airport. The city unfolded before them like a mirage. Turned real tall skyscrapers, gleaming in the desert sun. Luxury cars gliding on wide roads. The scent of oud and spices lingering in the air. Their modest savings were enough for a small rented apartment in Dubai Marina, overlooking the water. Emir wasted no time. He began visiting textile suppliers in Dera, meeting tailors in Satwa, networking at fashion events. Slowly, he built a small team: 2 young Emirati designers, 1 Lebanese marketing expert, and a handful of skilled tailors. At first, doors closed in his face. Some investors dismissed him as another dreamer. Others told him the market was too competitive. But Emir no longer feared rejection. He remembered the nights of despair in Istanbul and compared them to now, walking hand in hand with Amina on Jumeirah Beach. After a long day of meetings, failure no longer frightened him. The breakthrough. One afternoon, Emir received an invitation to showcase Hugger style at a modest fashion exhibition in the Dubai Mall. It was the opportunity he had prayed for. The night before the event, nerves threatened to overwhelm him. He sat in their living room, staring at the neatly packed collection. Amina placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Amina, why are you anxious? Haven't you already succeeded?" Emir, frowning. "Not yet. We're still unknown. If tomorrow fails..." Amina, interrupting softly. "If Allah wants it to succeed, no one can stop it. And if it fails, then He has something better planned. Either way, you cannot lose." Her words settled his heart like balm. The next day, Hugger style stunned the audience. Emir's collection flowing cotton abayas, linen dresses. Modern cuts blended with traditional modesty stood out. Emirati women whispered to each other about the comfort and elegance. Buyers approached him asking about orders. One investor, a dignified Emirati man named Khalid Al-Mansour, shook his hand firmly. "Khalid, your vision is fresh. Modesty with grace. I want to partner with you. Dubai needs this." By the end of the exhibition, Hugger Style had secured its first major investment. Emir could hardly believe it. As he packed up, he turned to Amina, eyes shining. "Emir, we did it. Amina, we really did it." Amina, smiling warmly. "You did it, Emir. I only prayed for you." Emir, gently. "No. Without you, there would be no Hugger Style." Rising star. Within a year, Hugger Style boutiques opened in Dubai Mall and Mall of the Emirates. Emir's designs gained recognition not only in the UAE, but also across the Gulf, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Riyadh. Social media influencers began wearing his clothes, calling it the new wave of modest fashion. At a press conference, a journalist asked him, "Journalist, Mr. Emir, you went from bankruptcy in Istanbul to becoming one of Dubai's rising fashion names. What changed your life?" Emir smiled softly, glancing at Amina sitting in the front row. "Emir, one woman, one moment. Allah sent her to me when I was broken. From her simplicity I learned that true beauty lies in modesty. And that's what Hugger Style is all about." The room went silent, cameras clicking. Emir knew the world was listening, but his heart was speaking only to her. Chapter 7. Success and Gratitude. 2 years had passed since Emir and Amina first set foot in Dubai. In that short span, their lives had transformed beyond imagination. Hugger Style boutiques gleamed in Dubai Mall, Mall of the Emirates, and even in Abu Dhabi's Yas Mall. Social media. Influencers showcased Emir's designs, while Gulf royals discreetly purchased custom pieces for family gatherings. Emir had become what he once dreamed of. A millionaire, respected, admired. Yet, unlike before, he no longer felt empty. Because now, every success was shared with Amina. The award night. One evening, Emir stood on stage at a prestigious Dubai Fashion Awards ceremony. He had just been named Designer of the Year for his contribution to modest fashion. Applause thundered in the hall, flashes from cameras blinding him momentarily. When he stepped to the microphone, he paused. For a moment, he remembered his old apartment in Istanbul. The nights he had thought of ending it all. The tears he hid from Kerem, the endless debts. His throat tightened. "Emir, tonight, I stand before you honored, but also humbled. Not long ago, I was a man broken by failure. I thought my life had no purpose. Then Allah showed me something different. He showed me that true beauty is not in chasing the world, but in living with sincerity. Hugger was born from that belief. From one simple moment that changed my life forever. He looked down at the front row, where Amina sat, her smile glowing brighter than the stage lights. Amir, voice softening. That moment was meeting my wife. Amina, you are my inspiration. Everything I design is a reflection of the modesty and grace I saw in you that first day in Istanbul. This award belongs to you as much as to me. The audience erupted in applause, some visibly moved. Amina lowered her gaze modestly, but tears sparkled in her eyes. At home, later that night, as they sat on the balcony of their marina apartment, overlooking the glittering skyline of Dubai, Amir placed the award on the table between them. Amir, smiling. Do you remember? 2 years ago, I couldn't even pay my rent. And now? Amina, gently. And now Allah has blessed you. Amir, nodding. Yes, but Amina, do you know the greatest blessing I received? Amina, teasing lightly. This award. Amir, shaking his head. No. You gave me purpose when I had none. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Amina reached for the tea, pouring into 2 small glass cups. Amina. Amir, you give me too much credit. I only walked down a street one day, unaware of your eyes on me. It was Allah who guided you to me. Never forget that. Amir smiled, taking the cup from her. Amir. Then let us never forget him, in ease or in hardship. Phone call from Istanbul. One evening, Amir received a call from Kerem, his old friend from Istanbul. Kerem, laughing. So, Mr. Millionaire, you finally did it. I see your face on magazines here. Hugger style everywhere. Amir, smiling warmly. Yes, brother. But it's not the money I'm proud of. It's the peace. Kerem, curious. Peace. You. A man who once said he'd rather burn in fire than freeze in mediocrity. Amir, chuckling. I was a fool. Now I know. True greatness is not in money or fame, it's in finding someone who makes you better, and in walking the path Allah chooses for you. Kerem grew quiet, then said softly, Kerem, maybe I need to find my Amina too. Amir laughed, his heart full. Gratitude. On Fridays, Amir and Amina often went together to Jamia Mosque. After prayer, Amir would sit quietly, hands raised. Amir, whispering, Ya Allah, you lifted me from darkness to light. You gave me love when I thought I was unworthy. You gave me success when I had nothing. Never let me forget that everything I have belongs to you. Beside him, Amina whispered her own prayers. And Amir knew that as long as they prayed together, they would never be poor, no matter how the world measured wealth. Epilogue. A legacy of simplicity. The years rolled by and Dubai had become home. Hugger style grew beyond anything imagined. Boutiques in Riyadh, Doha, London, and even Istanbul, where it all began. Fashion magazines wrote about the rise of modest elegance, and international designers invited him to collaborate. But success no longer dazzled him. His heart was steady, anchored in something deeper. One evening, after Maghrib prayer, Amir and Amina walked hand in hand along the Dubai Marina promenade. The water reflected the glitter of skyscrapers, and children played nearby, their laughter echoing in the warm night air. Amir glanced at Amina. Time had passed, but her modest beauty remained unchanged. She still wore simple cotton abayas, elegant without extravagance. He smiled, remembering the very first day he saw her on Istiklal Street. Amir, softly. Do you know, Amina, I still carry that first sketch of you. She looked up at him in surprise. Amina, laughing lightly. After all these years? You haven't thrown it away. Amir, shaking his head. Never. That sketch is my reminder. It was the day Allah sent me my greatest blessing. They stopped near the water's edge, the city alive around them. Yet for a moment it felt like only the two of them existed. Amina, quietly. Emir, do you ever regret the failures you had before we met? Emir, smiling. Not anymore. Those failures were my teachers. They broke me, so I could be rebuilt. Without them, I would never have been ready for you. He squeezed her hand gently. Emir, and without you, there would be no Hugger style. The world may see me as a designer, an entrepreneur, a millionaire. But in truth, I am just a man who saw a woman walking down a street and knew Allah had written her in his destiny. Amina lowered her gaze, her cheeks warming with modesty. Yet her heart swelled with gratitude. The couple stood silently, watching the reflections dance on the water. The city hummed with ambition around them. But their world was simple: faith, love, and purpose. As the call to Isha prayer echoed faintly in the distance, Emir whispered one final thought to himself. Emir, Hugger style may live on as a brand, but our true legacy is the love that began with modesty. And with that, they walked on two souls, side by side, carrying the light of simplicity into a world that often forgot what true beauty meant.